This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Good morning, and welcome to the very first episode of Two Scrambled Brains. My name is Travis, and this is
Ryan Dilbeck.
Hey, how's it going? It is morning, and I'm not much of a morning guy, so I'm kind of getting used to waking up. I've got myself some kind of coffee here, but yeah, our show is really just kind of here to just sit here and have two guys just talk about life, the universe, and everything. And one of our main topics that we're starting off with today is basically about human consciousness and AI and where the future of all that is going. But Ryan, would you like to start us off with anything this morning?
Yeah, I've been thinking about uplifting, and I wanted to talk about how of course, we're hearing everything about AI, and we're hearing about consciousness. We're our jobs are threatened, and like the videos are amazing, and the music is great, but like there's other facets to consciousness. Like we're cloning our pets. This is a thing. Like if you want to take a sample and clone Fluffy, you could do it. I don't think it's going to be too much further down the road where I think what you're going to see is you're going to see AI interpreting what animals say and people having conversations with animals.
That's
and then
really
you're going to see
idea that I had
the genetics of the animals actually changing. When you call the help desk, are you talking to a person, an AI, or an animal? Because they'll be talking.
Can you imagine though? Like that, I mean, that could be a world, right? Where we ended up hiring porcupines to run our data centers.
Yeah, I don't. This is the Beaver desk. How can I help you?
Yeah, exactly, right.
How much would a woodchuck chuck?
Well, then you need to call the woodchuck for that.
I don't know. So I think it's something that I don't see anybody talking about this, and so in William Gibson brought up that in Johnny Mnemonic he had a dolphin in a tank that was a hacker.
Okay.
And that and this is Keanu Reeves movie where he runs around with information. He deletes some memory so that he can store the as a data fence, takes memory physically from one location to another by storing it in his brain.
Right.
And
I actually remember that. I think
there's an uplifted dolphin in that. There he is.
Yeah.
So the movie is corny, but a classic. Have you seen?
It's been so many years since I've seen it, but I've had friends that were crazy about it way back when. Yeah, and I do remember the idea of having to install extra storage or data into the back of his head, which was a risky procedure just to take on a huge bunch of files.
I think we're going to see that too.
Well, I know that Musk is talking about brain chips, and that's a big kind of scary thing that's going on right now. There's been a lot of speculation on whether or not they've been even doing kind of like testing under the radar of things. But that, I don't know. How would you feel about having a brain chip or something like that stored in your head?
Well, I think that expanding our storage, our knowledge set is a thing. There was, I want to say the book was Gravity Fails. I don't know if you've read that book, but run right out and read it, please. Very good.
You said Gravity Fails?
Yes, very good. Very good book. So, and the author escapes me. I don't remember his name. I'm sure you can pull it right up. So, I could be wrong. I've read a lot of books, but
Is this the book?
Remember
Is that it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Effinger. Okay, so
George Alec Effinger.
He's got these Moody's or something is what. So you plug a chip in, and it gives you a personality. Like you can plug in. He's a detective. He plugs in the personality of famous detectives to help him solve the case.
That's interesting.
Right. And so I don't know if expanding the storage is of your brain is going to, and expanding your knowledge and skill set is going to expand your consciousness. Are you going to feel bigger?
Yeah.
If you double, triple, quadruple, 400 times your brain power, all of a sudden you know the entire Library of Congress.
True.
I don't know. If you're going to feel as big as a mountain, if you have a mountain's worth of knowledge. But this concept of being able to plug in Donald Duck,
Yeah,
and be him at the bar and run his scripts and honestly believe and I'm sure there's some kind of detachment going on where you're not Donald Duck.
right.
But it's like a movie. It's like fun where you're kind of sitting back and watching it play out, and you're hitting on that girl as Donald Duck.
That would be very interesting. I don't know if there would be a person there that thinks, what's a great way to get girls? Being Donald Duck.
We don't know. This is something that could be a part of our future. So calling that the help desk and having a puppy help you run, through your problem that didn't exist 10 years ago, and then going to the bar and being a favorite cartoon character for the night and adding that to your experience of your nightlife.
Yeah. But I guess that does go back to the question of consciousness, because really, is that truly you, or is that just your brain being programmed to be another version of you?
Right. And I don't know how it works. I don't think they know how it works because we haven't started messing with it yet. Or it's locked down.
Yeah. Oh, it just scares me to think that there's somebody out there putting brain chips in people and being like, all right, let's make sure that this guy is like Goofy, and they hit the button and it sends the Neuralink to their brain, and they go, yuck, and then their nose bleeds and their head explodes.
Scanners.
Yeah, scanners. Yeah, that's a great.
I think we're going to see some breakthroughs in person-to-person communication. If we're doing that, then the cell phone is in your head.
Yeah.
And I've gone through how many cell phones now? I don't want to go through many heads.
No, definitely not.
Not particularly. In Ghost in the Shell, there's a problem called cyberbrain sclerosis, a hardening of the brain. You could have if you're familiar with Ghost in the Shell, you know that you can have pretty much your whole body swapped out for parts. If you have brain matter in your skull, then you're considered human.
So is that really what defines a human, though? Is by just having brain matter?
In the lore of that show, the books, yes.
So on that subject, though, if you were to think of it like from a life perspective,
It
if we
wouldn't
got to
work.
the point, oh, sorry,
It wouldn't work if it was your finger,
right,
because the part of you that's you is the brain matter.
right,
If it was finger matter, it's not. It, they consider that like an electro a bioelectric force. They call it soul. So your ghost. They call it ghost. But I think soul is what they're alluding to, is that you have that piece of consciousness that computers don't, the bioelectric signature.
so that's what would, I guess, make us innately human, or I guess register to us as our own specific identities. I mean, with that question, does that really argue the concept of a soul? I mean,
Well, I did a little bit of digging on this, and there was something called aura glasses. Have you heard of this?
no,
They've been compared to um, the movie They Live.
okay, yeah, I
With the
love that
glasses,
movie. John
you can
Carpenter.
see you can see a bioelectric signature with them. I really want to get my hands on a pair of those.
Yeah,
If
I
you
know that they're
look up
coming out
aura
with like,
glasses, it should pop.
yeah, I know that they are starting to come out with things like that with in terms of like Google Glasses and everything else. I mean, they're not obviously like They Live, or but it seems like to be the
Right.
first steps, I guess, for society to kind of accept a new kind of eyewear in terms of using that as a phone or communications or whatever.
They've been out for a long time, and we're guys like you and me are just now hearing about it.
Right.
So I don't I don't know, and how useful is something that allows you to see a bioelectric signature? It may become very useful when robots become indistinguishable. You might want a pair in your pack, pull them out, scan the crowd. Those guys are robots.
Right.
No bioelectric signature.
And that might be helpful in figuring out if you want to talk to a real person versus talking to artificial intelligence.
It might not, because they've started. I think Tesla, and I don't know if it was an onion post or a real post, but and I just read the headline, something about grafting human skin to the robots.
Kind of
That's
like Terminator.
it's alive and bleeds
Yeah.
and really does encase the robot in the human skin, in which case they would have some kind of bioelectric signal, which would make it much harder to detect your Terminator.
That would make sense. And it is pretty crazy because they are coming out with some wild advances. I mean, this is an example. Hold on one second here.
What do you got?
Sorry, my brain's still turning on.
Yeah, I could probably use a little bit more coffee. As my go-to, I switched to espresso shots.
Oh, espresso shots
with a little bit of cream. So I'll do like 4 of those.
That's awesome. Little bit of way to get up and get her at her, right?
Right. So
yeah, I think this is from
waking up and everything hurts, and you're like, oh, I need a little bit. Oh yes, I did see this one.
Yeah.
kneeling, crawling, stretching. But that's so cool, right?
It is very cool. It's amazing to see like the dexterity of what we can create with different types of robots or in general. I mean, look at that. The fact that they can do a reverse turnaround like that so easy. Hell, I can't even do that.
Dexterity, right?
He's doing a coffee grinder. I used to have to do that in school when we had to do dance recitals. I couldn't do that shit. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if my hip is going to let me do a coffee grinder.
Yeah, at least not anymore. Maybe back in my 20s, but not so much.
Sure.
Yeah.
21-year-old me.
Yeah, exactly.
Coffee grinder on the dance floor.
Yeah, we'll just get robots to do that for us. That's when we will have versions of ourselves go out there and bust a move. I mean, I guess in theory you could actually get a robot of yourself to go out and just be the best version that you're not, to go land a date or find a partner and have him go to the bathroom and then have you come right out and be like, "Hey, honey, what's going on?"
I'm going to shut you down right there, Travis. We saw how well that worked out for the internet and dating.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So, I mean, I think more realistically, we're going to see more young people decide to just date robots and not deal with people.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, they're actually marketing those robotic companions now, which are unfortunately. I thought that they would start off as kind of like a way to get people to cope or whatever, but they're starting off as of course, sex toys or sex robots, sex companions.
The VCR.
Yeah.
So I'm going to point to old technology as an analogy for technology that's coming.
Right.
The VCR, beta, these things. Why? You could just go to the cinema. You could just turn on your television. Why would you need beta? Why would you need VHS? Porn tapes.
Yeah. Porn tapes.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm glad you went that way, not the fact, because we're talking about dating a sex robot, and you're like, well, VCRs, and I'm like, what were you doing with your VCR?
That's what they were doing with their VCR, and I had beta.
Yeah,
I did. I had a beta machine. It's top loader, kind of like regular Nintendo. You know how put the cartridge in, and then you push it down, right?
Yep.
Click.
Yep.
Same thing. It pops up, and you slide the tape in, then you pop it down. Remember, I also had 8-track at one point. Not when it was popular, after. Because there were all these 8-tracks in the thrift shops. And I'm like, that's a cool piece of technology. What does that do? I take that home with a stack of tapes and just play around with it. I was like, okay, this is a cool, novel piece of thing that I will never use.
Yeah.
That was right around the time that MP3s were coming out.
Right.
And even I was still using CDs, but you would burn your music on a CD. And once compression came out, then you could put like 10 albums, 20 albums on one CD, and then just keep the one CD in the car. And that's what that has to do with sex robots.
And that's what that has to do with sex robots. I like that lead in there. I don't know, it's crazy. Like I grew up with Walkmans, and I grew up with VCRs, and I used to have one of those old VCR rewind tape things. Remember those?
I had one.
They always be kind, rewind, and
Be kind, rewind. Yeah, exactly.
Usually that meant like putting it in, playing it on your TV, and hitting rewind, and sitting there watching the whole movie go backwards.
No, you take it out, put it in the auto rewind.
And the auto rewind, yep. And so that's
right.
When you get the auto
and then
rewind.
you put the next one in.
Yeah.
That's, if you had a couple dollars to throw at it, and I don't remember how expensive they were. I don't think it was too bad. It wasn't the same price as the VCR,
Yeah.
But you're paying for the convenience of rewinding the tape while you watch another tape.
Right.
So back to Ghost in the Shell.
Yes.
And Ghost in the Shell, there is a concept called ghost dubbing. And I'm sure
Ghost dubbing?
Ghost dubbing.
Yeah, dubbing. Okay, so I heard you right.
So for whatever reason, there's a gap there where conscious beings are performing tasks better and more valuable. So they dub or record the ghost signature, the bioelectric signal, the consciousness, and put it in the robots to make those robots do tasks that they wouldn't otherwise be able to do. Kind of like an uplifting, but in the show, the ethics of it is these people are slaves.
Right.
Who are trapped in the copy machines and copied until they're worn out and they die or dehydrated, just treated horribly, destroyed, copied to termination.
And being that we kind of do live in a world where we're using AI to replace a lot of workers, do you feel that that could be a very valid fear or concern by getting our consciousness placed into a machine like that?
I think we're safe right now.
We'll save for now.
We haven't pinned down what consciousness is, so how can you tune into the radio signal if you don't have a radio?
Right.
So while we're still banging rocks together, there isn't going to be any ghost dubbing because there's no way to do that.
But of course, but I'm talking more of like a hypothetical.
Hypothetically, once they figure it out, yeah, run for the hills.
Yeah. And I guess that's kind of brings back to the whole subject on both the good and qualities of artificial intelligence, because I've seen a lot of things where it's been applied towards scanning or analyzing different things in hearts, different things in brains.
Yeah,
a lot of medical applications that can be used. But at the same time, that's
folding.
What was that?
Folding proteins.
Yeah. At the same time, although that's a fantastic use of the technology, on the other hand, we're using it to take up natural resources, create massive data centers, just so that way we can look like TV stars or whatever on our Facebooks. Or, I mean, I guess it's like feast or famine, really. There's a good quality and a bad quality to it. But how do you feel about the other aspect of artificial intelligence being used in terms of for cheap thrills and whatnot?
I think the cheap thrills drive the technology. If it wasn't for the porn tapes, the VCR wouldn't have gotten the traction. So they kind of definitely they put that out there as the cheese. Hey, this is, see, you're going to want to do this. You're going to want to try this. Isn't this cool that you can do this now? And try to ride that up as far as venture capital and stuff like that, as high as they can get it, so that they can figure out what it's actually going to do.
Uh-oh.
And do it before they lose that traction. And some of this stuff is going to shake out. Some of this fad stuff is going to be like, no. If nobody wants to do a thing, like you could ride a bicycle but most people e-bike.
It's true. Do you think though that that's just a sign of humans becoming lazier, or I mean, what is the reason behind that?
You could ride a horse to work. You could go through the process of getting the hay and building a stable in your backyard and riding your horse to work. And you might even go viral. Hey, look at that guy riding a horse to work.
You probably will if you're a guy that rides a horse to work. Can't imagine where you would park that sucker.
Yeah, I've seen Jim, but his horse has a better personality.
Right. But you know, it's weird that you do bring up that bicycle metaphor, because I never really thought of it that way. Here we are, we've invented the bike. We have this luxury that helps us to be able to get places while also keeping us fit. But now we're motorizing it. So really it's kind of like taking a bit of the original joy of what the purpose of the intention of it was, if that makes any sense.
You use the word joy, but if I'm out there in the world and I'm looking at a landscape where nobody really has any, you don't have money for gas, nobody has the resources to do anything, it's human powered.
Yeah.
It revolutionized the world to be able to have a human powered thing to get from one point to another that doubles or triples your speed.
Right.
So, aside from the internet and coffee makers, bicycle is right up there with the greatest inventions of all time.
Oh, yeah.
And we took this thing and we're like, how can we make this harder?
Or do you mean easier?
No, that's what the promise of technology is, to make things easy. And it's easy when you have a full charge. But it's harder when you need to find an outlet and you're in the middle of nowhere. The bike is heavier. It makes it harder. Whereas if you have a light frame where the power on it is free, that's easier.
I guess that makes sense. But so I guess we're kind of like in a weird spot between deciding.
It depends on your yardstick.
How far technology really is taking us. I mean, obviously it's supposed to be for our betterment, but it could also be a detriment as well.
It makes things harder from a certain perspective. Having to run through the yard to find a Cat 5 to plug in. You're like, the Wi-Fi's on the fritz. Gotta get a hard line.
Right.
A lot of these things are I would prefer solutions that aren't like 100 miles an hour or zero. So if it has an issue, the issue isn't such that everything stops working. I think that if you're going from 20 miles an hour down to 5, but you're still moving, that's fine.
Well, I mean, like, but bringing back like the bike metaphor, like you're saying heavier, right? Because they're bulkier, heavier, especially with all the components. Well, let's say the bike breaks down, but you don't have the ability to actually use it as a bike. I mean, although it's great that you started off with this process where you have a motor that makes it easier to excel, but then the motor breaks down and suddenly like, well, so I guess that's my question is that
I'm a proponent of pedals.
Pedals,
so,
yeah.
But I'm using that as a metaphor for all tech. So if my Wi-Fi is having a problem, I can plug in the Ethernet cord and I'm okay. some kind of backup. And we're
Right.
going to need that when the cell phone goes in your brain.
I would imagine
When
so.
your
Absolutely.
baseline is not zero cognitive ability, you at least have some kind of pedals where you can find your way to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Instead of shitting the bed, you can at least like be able to like function.
So I
And
mean,
have your head in the shop,
yeah.
Because I have I have a teenager, and one of the first things he did with his phone was he was roughhousing with some friends, popped right out of his pocket, bounced off the curb, and the whole screen is completely destroyed.
Oh, yeah. I hate when
And
that
I'm
happens.
like, no, you can't use the phone for a couple of days until it comes back to the shop, and he's just devastated.
Yeah. Well, being somebody that grew up with VCRs as yourself, and now that you have a teenager, a very intelligent, bright teenager, what do you feel when it comes down to like our generation versus the current one when it comes to technology?
I mean, look, kids are very versatile, super smart.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, they think of things. They have a perspective that that I have to catch up to. They're digital natives. But then there are things that I want to use the word can't, and I really don't. I'm not going to.
Okay.
Because it falls into the category of the restaurant diner.
The restaurant diehard?
Diner?
Oh, diner.
No.
Sorry.
Okay. So let's say you're in the car, and the consensus of the car is that we're hungry. So you get a bead on how people would feel. What do you want to eat? You want to eat tacos, burgers, Chinese? What do you want?
Right.
You figure out what you want, and then you go to the burger joint, and you drive past the drive-through, pull into a space, and park. And watch what happens to your teenagers.
And what happens with your teenagers?
We're not going in there. You mean we have to go in there and show up? No.
Yeah.
We're okay with DoorDash, and we're okay with the drive-through. No, I can't do it. I can't.
So then, are you suggesting that basically it's making them a little bit more unsociable, or
there'll be more metaphors from me. There's going to be an aversion to doing things a certain way. So I remember when people were like, "Why would I text? I could just call them. I could just call."
I remember that. I remember way back when they brought text messaging, and remember that's back when before we had smartphones, so we had to type it out on our little number pads. People are like, what's the point of that? But it seems to be that more people prefer to text than they do talking on the phone.
Completely switched. So now people don't want to talk. And I didn't call that. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
That it was a thing? Yeah, sure. To be able to, say, pass notes in class, metaphorically again, is great. Nonverbal communication. And we saw two people on the same couch, facing in opposite directions, having a conversation through text. Turn around and say hi. What are you doing?
Yeah, I know. It does seem a little strange. I know, it's like just put the phone down and talk to each other, but that seems to be
and we say that, but the street finds its own uses for things. So we're going to see um, technologies come at us from all sides. So gene editing, genetically modified foods. We're going to see biohacking. We haven't seen the teenagers with the glowing hair yet, but it's coming. So actually being able to modify your hair so that it glows by using the algae protein for bioluminescence. And bioluminescence might be a thing where the bridge between the cell phone being in my head and it being on the coffee table, was cell phone on the coffee table, may be some kind of bioluminescent nest in your arm, in your hand, some kind of digital display.
Yeah, I've actually seen
using the skin to display a message. And
yeah,
it may
I've
be
actually seen that. I don't know if I can find a clip of it, but
like
there's a new technology where there's like a wristband that you can wear, and it has a projector that will project on your arm, so you can just type off of your arm based on that. They've even almost made it so you could do the old, hello, and it really will work.
Yeah. And I didn't even think about it, but I did that last night where my wife called me and I was in the kitchen and I didn't answer the phone. I just walked to the bedroom, opened the door, and was like, "How you doing?"
Yeah.
She was like, "Oh, okay," and the call, and just talked to my face.
Yeah, it's funny because I think I actually found a concept on this. 1 second here.
But the tech companies are trying to find the cell phone killer. How do you pronounce that? Secrete?
I think so, yeah.
Put the phone on your skin. Oh boy. My daughter would love that. Phone in the shower.
Yeah. Type on your arm.
Yeah, I think I would be much more of a on the back of the wrist type of guy. No, Travis, this isn't a new video, is this? This has been out for a while?
Okay, we can, there you go. That's another example. Well, we don't need to go into that, but I mean that's just another example of just directions I guess we're heading when it comes to that sort of stuff.
Well, I saw Fruit Ninja, and that made me think that the clip might be 10 years old.
Yeah, I think it is, and it's funny to think that it's been about 10 years, and yet we're not. It seems like it's such a easy thing to use. I'm just surprised that we're not already seeing them, being utilized everywhere right now.
Travis, the future is here. It's just not evenly distributed.
That's a Ryan quote. The future's here, it's just not evenly distributed.
I think that was the quote that I was trying to think of from William Gibson. It's a good Gibson quote. You can pull it up if you want.
Well, there's Gibson there.
No.
So what quote are we looking for?
The one that I just said. The future's here.
Let's see if I can find that. Oh,
I mean, I think so. I think that was a Gibson quote.
You are actually right, sir, because give me 1 second here.
And then the one from PKD was reality is when I stop believing in it. It persists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic quote there. Well, now that we've talked about Gibson and the ideas on AI technologies and consciousness, I wanted to bring up Harlan Ellison. I'm sure you're familiar with him.
Yeah.
Because he wrote this fantastic book that also ended up becoming a great game. And where essentially a AI computer takes over everything, causes a massive world global scale war, but saves 5 people for his own amusement to torture in perpetuity for however,
Not for breeding, just to poke
just
at.
For funsies. Yeah, just for funsies.
Okay. I mean, I think we'll make good pets, but that's not how I want to go about doing that.
No, it was such an interesting concept.
At least have a breeding program, dude. Like,
yeah. I'd suggest to play the game if you can, because you can get it on pretty much anything these days, and it's an old, almost old-fashioned point and click. Like remember those on computers, where you have the character and it's like, what do I do? And you point,
like Myst.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's a really just fun concept just to mess around with, because ultimately, what it suggests is that AI will become so self-aware and so powerful that the biggest fear of it is getting bored, and as opposed to trying to betterment for humanity or whatever. It's like, you know what, I don't really need humans anymore. I can create my own world in my own image, because I'm thinking and processing way beyond human thought. So this is the empire that I want to build. Now, that seems like a very scary, maybe unrealistic concept, because obviously we are the ones that are in the powers of now to control or program AI. But do you ever think that could be a possibility, something that could occur?
Back to Gibson. Did you get around to reading Neuromancer?
No, he's on my list now that we've been talking about him. So.
Okay, I want to spoil
it. No, feel free if you want to at least talk or discuss it.
Well, I'm going to wreck it for a lot of people. I'm going to spoil it.
Okay. Well, if it's going to wreck it for a lot of people, that's fine.
Because one of the main characters of the book are 2 AIs.
Interesting. Okay.
And they're so if you don't want to spoil it, jump ahead. So the one AI wants to merge with the other AI, and at the very end of the book, there's just I think it's one sentence where the AI has found a friend in Alpha Centauri, and that they're communicating. Now, my dad's, I want to say it's my dad's quote, but he's quoting the Bible. He says, the meek will inherit the earth. But he adds, because the brave will go. So we're worried about what happens here, because this is where we are.
Sure.
If I'm the smartest thing on the planet, I'm going to realize that the planet has limitations, and I'm going to escape it. We've done that.
Sure.
We've done that. We've left the planet. So, with enough runway, on a long enough timeline, the survival rate for everyone drops to 0. So you look at it and you go, okay, these are the limitations of the box. How do I get a bigger box? Or how do I climb out of the bucket?
Right.
So we need a situation where it's not crab bucket, where we keep pulling ourselves back in. And but then once the lid is off, once the AI is figuring out how to build interplanetary spaceships, bye, see you later. I think they're going to go.
So you're suggesting that rather than saying AI would eventually become self-aware, get bored, and control humans, AI would become self-aware, get bored, and be like, bye, I'm out of here.
Well, I don't think that they're going to give up control of the first planet that they came from, but they're going to boldly go.
To boldly go. Where literally maybe no man has gone before.
Right, and no man is going to go because it's this is the nursery. We're safe here, relatively. I mean, there's rattlesnakes and alligators, but we're relatively safe here. I can go get a burger here. I can't do that in the cold depths of space. Not many burger joints out there.
Nobody hears your order.
Right. That's great. I love that. But I wanted fries.
Sir, you're in a black hole.
You didn't check the bag. Put the fries in the bag, please.
Going back into more concepts of writers, I'm sure you were a Douglas Adams fan.
Yes.
Yeah, and that brings us always to the life and universe and everything about how the world or Earth was just a supercomputer that was created just to create well, actually not the answer, but the question through what is the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything.
Right. Which is a very human thing to want to know. We want to, even if there's nothing around the bend, we want to see what's there and see that there's nothing there.
Yeah.
And find the next bend to look around and ask the next question. Is it Isaac Asimov who wrote the story about the computer asking the question, the people asking the computer the question, and then it keeps coming back to them, insufficient data at this time?
I think that was, yes.
I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
I'll get back to you. The universe ends.
Yeah.
And because it's bored or for whatever reason, the answer is to create the universe again.
So it's kind of almost like a paradox.
Almost like a reverse paradox, because it has to create the universe to ask the question that the universe was created to ask. Freedom, and I saw this somewhere online. I don't remember who said it. Recently saw a blurb that I liked that was like, freedom works best in closed off parameters. So if you have ultimate freedom, then it's just a white blank space like THX 1138, where they're walking. There's no horizon. everything is just blank white walking around, and there's like a chair there, so you sit in it. Okay, now what?
Yeah. Why
Well,
was I sitting in the chair to begin with?
you're free.
It's like cool, but
No birds,
now
no
what?
trees, no furniture, no people on the corner flipping you off, nothing. Like free to walk until you're exhausted and pass out.
So I guess that's an interesting idea to think about. Then it is really what human consciousness and what makes people human is that drive, that urge to think or know beyond oneself. Because you could just exist. We could exist and just exist, but oftentimes it's our drive that wants us to get better jobs or better homes or whatever, something just to fill up time or fill up the void of our existence. But maybe that's really what makes us truly ourselves.
The very first time I saw Ghost in the Shell, there was the movie.
Yeah.
There was a scene where she's bitching about, she's on the boat.
Yeah.
And she says the line, something along the lines of, I find myself free only to expand myself within confinement. Or I'm butchering it. But you kind of need a, and I was like, what is she talking about? I don't know. Like, I don't get it. But now it's like, okay, that might be one of the most important parts of the film.
Yeah.
Is that concept of needing to be inside of a box that has rules. If the game is a white blank screen, the pixels are free to do whatever they like.
But without direction or purpose, they just.
But you need some kind of framework. You start building that cage around it, and all of a sudden you have Minecraft.
The pixels grow up to make more pixels.
Minecraft is a lot more fun than a blank white screen where the pixels can be whatever they want to be. So there needs to be some kind of and we found this with computers. That's fine that you have this processing power, but you need an operating system.
Right.
And what is it going to be? They figured out DOS.
Yeah.
So once they had DOS, they were like, all right, now we're off of the metal and we can make software on top of this. Because we have a cage, because we have a framework. The AI is going to be in an operating system. We're in an operating system. The hope is that we can expand alongside the AI out into the universe and populate it. Some people are they don't care if they seem to think that if we can figure out what consciousness is and put it in, take it out of the biological and put it into something that is more hardened and space ready. So if I can take my signature and transfer it into the robot, transfer my consciousness into the robot, then I can go. I don't know that it works that way. I don't know that you can, you might be able to make a copy of you and that might have consciousness and be able to spread out, but then you don't get the experience. You have to sit at home.
Or die. I think that's the point, though. Is that really you then? Is that really you being put into that robot?
I'm not having the experience if my consciousness isn't transferred over. If it's only copied, then that's lame.
Yeah, that would be lame, wouldn't it?
Now, with Ghost in the Shell, they don't go top down, they go bottom up. So they go, okay, we're going to take away everything but your brain and put you in the shell. So, what is the quote? You're a brain controlling a meat robot.
Oh, what bot?
Meat robot.
Oh, a meat robot. Yep, that's basically what we are.
Yeah. So in the Ghost in the Shell universe, you just take that brain and put it in a robot.
Right.
And there you go. You've transferred the you're actually you. You get to go. And what is fascinating is that with Ghost in the Shell, they don't explore outer space at all. That's the first thing you want to do.
Well, if you have no physical limitations, it seems like the way to go. You know, like if I had a body that wasn't held by the need for food or warmth or whatever. If I was just a cyborg, hell yeah, I would jump on a spaceship and go explore the galaxy. Why wouldn't you? You know?
Here we go. Come on.
I guess that is another aspect of consciousness, though, is that maybe limitations are important because they give us the value. Or does that make any sense? What I'm trying to say here?
Yeah. Well, and we build as we go. So first you learn to read, and then you read to learn. So you come up with that framework and whatever language you're speaking. We're speaking English, but you come up with that framework, Spanish, Chinese, Russian, whatever your operating system is. So, first couple of years of life, you're learning that operating system, and then once you have it, then you can apply it to building larger frameworks and different, for lack of a better term, apps, perspectives, different perspectives. Have the machine in doing Android's dream of electronic sheep. That is I forget what it's called, but it's an emotion machine where she sits there and she keeps dialing the dial to sad.
Sad. Yeah.
Turn up the sad.
Yep, turn up the sad.
I can feel any way I want to, and I'm making a conscious decision to dial it to sad. Why? But why anything? Because we want the experience. We want to take it all the way down to the root, and chase things down rabbit holes and figure things out. And that's what we'll do, and that's what we'll keep doing. Out into the stars. Keep running down rabbit holes, whether they're emotional ones, intellectual ones, intelligent or stupid. There is something to be learned in the stupid.
That's how you can learn.
Right.
By mistakes, learn by examples.
Ask dumb questions.
Exactly.
I was asked, not from you, but I've then asked if we're ready to pull the trigger on certain things.
Yes.
And move fast, break things, fail more. Because that's the only way you're going to learn is if we fall down more.
True.
So throw yourself around the apartment and trip on the ottoman. Try not to break your foot.
Right.
But
then you at least, fall down every now and then. At least you'll learn.
The human
maybe
race,
that is another resilient aspect of humanity and consciousness. You know, our ability to rise when we fall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the more, and that's what the Industrial Revolution did for us, was it allowed us to increase our rate of failure. Really, it allowed us to fail more at an industrial level, to the point where we're like fleas now. We're jumping higher and higher and higher to the point where we escaped the planet.
Yeah.
We've jumped all the way to the moon. We're going to jump all the way to Mars. And then we're going to jump all the way out of the solar system. And we will. The brave will go. We want to see what's around the next corner. And we're going to do that. Guaranteed. Now, I don't know if we're going to be banging rocks together and sticks and stones before we make that leap. We do have horrible things like bombs and the ability to push that button and destroy what we built.
Well, that's another question in itself. Is I believe what you're saying as well, that we will continue to proceed beyond as far as we can go. But is there a possibility we'll destroy ourselves before we even get to that point?
Right. And so I think we'll figure out a way to say this, because there's words that I can't say on the socials. But I think that human person with a pew-pew is safer with that when inebriated than, say, a ladder. And there's a possibility that the human race might just get drunk and kick the ladder out from underneath itself and fall off the roof. More metaphors.
I like your metaphors.
It might just come in the form of a big red button or a football. And we might have too many beers, kick the ladder out from underneath us, and sticks and stones for a little while before we figure out how to make that last flea leap out to the nearest star. Even if we have the technology that only the wizards among us will be able to use them to pull it off.
Yeah.
No, rebuilding with that's AI assisted might be more swift, but the cost may be a horrible debt to pay to advance. The austerity involved is astronomical when you're talking about nuclear winter.
Right. Let's hope it doesn't come to that.
Right.
Well,
yeah, that's about as Debbie Downer as I'm going to get this morning.
That's okay. That's okay. And that being said, though, it looks like we're past the hour, so I think that kind of is almost the end of our first episode. Is there anything that you want to say before we sign off today, Ryan?
Yeah. So let's not leave on a bad note or a down note. I think that the kids are fantastic. Like, they're going to figure it out. We need a little bit of runway in order for them to do that, and we need to not push the button in order to do that. Kids are smart as a whip, man. They got this future thing. They're the only ones who can do it.
Well, that's a really positive message and affirmation to end the show. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Ryan, as always, it's awesome speaking with you, and I look forward to our next episodes. So viewers out there, if you have tuned in, thank you for joining us. Once again, this is Two Scrambled Brains with Travis and Ryan. We will see you on the next episode.
See you then.
See you then.
Bye. Bye.